Welcome to Rebecca Sounds Reveille. What a show today I have for you because we have a guest who's an actress, screenwriter, an artist, a model. She's also worked for several radio stations, and she is known for many of her roles in documentaries, shorts, feature films, voiceovers, to include the Zombie Kronicles. And she is also known for her cover art, logos, and other artwork for a lot of entertainment films. You may see some behind her right now. She has just got this vibrant palette of talent. She's also a musician and she stays active. This is so endearing to me. She stays active in supporting causes such as the prevention of bullying and child abuse. I am so absolutely delighted to have her with us today because you are going to just gain so much joy and excitement from the things that she does. You're going to want to get on board. With me today, I have Kimm Mauceri. Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. And I'm so excited to have you here because you have such a palette of talent. And so many people just wish that they had just a minuscule of the things that you're able to do. Let me first start out by asking you, how did you get started? Because I know around 6 years old, there were some things that you were doing in the industry that were pretty amazing.
Well, when I was a kid, I got started because I liked watching a lot of the old shows, like I Love Lucy and Bewitched and, things like that. And so when I was about 6 years old, I was watching Bewitched and, the Munsters and Sid and Marty Krofft and just all that fun stuff, and I was just really connected with the facial expressions and just all the, I Love Lucy with the eyes and just all the big choices that she made that, I just started acting up pretty early, and just started entertaining 24 hours a day, with my own family. And it just became a part of me. So that's pretty much how I just started acting. It just felt like it was me, like I was born with it. I don't know what to say, really. I just enjoy it. I do it with my family now. And I'm a walking, TV show, I guess.
Well, and you were told when you went to acting school that this was right up your alley also.
Yeah. What happened is I was in graphic design at the time that I got back in. Well, I've gotten back into it so many times, I don't even know where to start, to be honest with you. But I guess I'll start here. I was in graphic design and I saw a sign, in the front of, the road. It was like a couple miles down the road and it said acting classes. And then the sign just kept getting closer. It's like every day I went to work, it got somebody picked up the picket sign or, whatever, the little sign there. And they moved it closer and then they moved it closer. And then it ended up being like right by my car, and I was like, all right, this is just too weird. So I'm going to go ahead and call them and check out, these classes. And the first day I went, I was taught by Hank Stone, and he worked with Van Damme in one of his movies and The Punisher and, things like that. And he said, go out and, you're really good, just go start applying. I was like, look, I've only been back doing this like a week, and he says, yeah, go do it. You're really good. And I had booked an independent feature film and a lead role in it. So it was fun. I got to play a drunk, arrogant mom. And, what a better role to start, your career with, So, but then even, back to when I was a kid, I had done theater and, I always wanted to be an artist or a musician. So the art world, just in general, being an artist, working for Disney or whatever it was, that was my dream, was to be in the entertainment business. And I did succeed in a lot of it. Even if I touched base with a little bit of it, I did get to accomplish a lot. Now you said in the beginning I'm a musician. I'm not really a musician, but I do play the bass guitar.
Yes.
But I'm not like, I don't record my own music. So I want to clarify that part. But I do play it, and I dabble a little bit in the piano, and my son does as well. And he played the saxophone. Now he's got a guitar, and I took him to his first Green Day concert at 12. And my mom took me to my first concert when I was 12 to the Rolling Stones. So, we have a lot of music background, but I'm not, really like a musician, but I can play.
And you can play bass guitar too, can't you?
Yeah, I play the bass guitar. I dabble in that just a little bit.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you are so modest about everything because this is incredible. I mean, it's a talent to be able to do those.
Yeah, the thing is that, you have to, if you feel something, and you want to do it, then you need to do it. You can't let that stop you, and I grew up a little bit poor. So, I didn't have a lot of money. So a lot of things that I did in my life, I had to, and I'm not saying that my family didn't, whatever, I'm just saying that we didn't have a lot of money, my mom and my grandmother. So I had to work harder. How's that? I just had to work a lot harder. And if I wanted something, I wanted to be a model, or I had to figure out how to do it. I didn't have handed down to me. Nothing was handed down to me. Everything I had to, pretty much work for.
No, and you shot for that, and you continued to just persevere. Tell me, I mean, because modeling is it can be very arduous to get into that field.
Okay, well, I'll tell you the story about that.
I love this.
I was 15 years old, and I always wanted to be a model too, including psychologist as well, but we'll stick with modeling right now. I wanted to be a model and actor, model, like I said, entertainer, whatever, but I wanted to be a model. So I went to this direction, and I opened up the newspaper because we had them back in the day. I don't know if they still do today. And that's where I found most of my cool jobs, was in the newspaper. But I had pulled out the ad, and it said, Barbizon Modeling School. We need somebody in, admin to help out, whatever. So I was the director's assistant at Barbizon. I got hired for that. And I guess they thought that I was, pretty, at the time, but I just wasn't dressing well. I was a little tomboyish, jeans, t-shirt, just I like to be comfortable, and I still do today. But I had, I hope I'm not talking too fast, but,
Great. Great.
But, I went and I applied, and I got the job, the director's assistant, and all three of them, the sales, the agent, everybody, they were always hovering over me and saying that I was very pretty, and, have I ever considered modeling? And I was like, sure, So they said, look, after I had worked there about a year, and I was, doing pretty well, making them some money and everything, getting people in and stuff, they came up to me and said, we want to give you a scholarship to the school, and I was like, okay, that's fine. So I got to do some runway, and I got to do, I was the NASCAR Winston girl at 15, and I worked for Casey Masterpiece and a bunch of just little jobs back then. And then finally, I just, said goodbye. And the agent told me, she says, well, keep in touch. You really can make it, in this industry. And I was like, nah, I just want to be a kid. I just wanted to be a kid. So I left it, but it keeps coming back in my life. Even when I walk away from it, it always comes back.
Yeah.
I might not be, at this status here, but it's still a part of me. It's still in my life.
I do understand that. I understand that very well. And it's really interesting that you mentioned that, because oftentimes we don't recognize that there are certain things that are supposed to be part of our world, and they will come back to us
Yeah.
in sometimes, different faces or different situations, but it still comes back and we get back into something. And then we realize, oh, I really love this, or I've had so much fun or so much enjoyment from this. And that
Yeah.
goes back to what you first said. I mean, just following some of the things that you're really passionate about are so important.
Well, like, for instance, just I'll give you a small example. I love comic books, okay, and I collected them, when I was a kid. And I was so fascinated with the advertisements that were in there, the sea monkeys and all them little fun
Oh,
advertisements, you know what I'm saying? So I was fascinated with that. And now I own my own advertising. You know what I'm saying? And then I
yeah.
liked listening to my mom's records, the Beatles, and those are my friends, my music when I was a kid. And then I ended up working at a radio station,
Mm.
So I think that everything that I did was all connected. It was all meant to be. And the same thing with acting. I left it and it came back to me like quite a few times for no reason. It just showed up out of the blue, And
Love it.
yeah, a lot of it, lots of it's been connected.
Well, it's really neat how that works and that you recognize it, because oftentimes people don't
Yeah,
recognize that there's something saying, hey, this is what you should be doing, or
yeah,
part of fulfilling some of that creativeness within you or something like that. I mean, we often sometimes just don't recognize little signs along the way, and it's really neat when we do. So let me ask you, out of okay, so from modeling to being on the set and being involved with having your own roles on the shows, and then having your own radio show.
yeah.
Which do you think um, felt the most exciting or empowering, really?
Oh boy. Um, Acting to me is the best because I'll tell you why. I like when people ask me, why I want to be an actress. I say it's not because of fame or fortune or, because I like to read books and stuff like that. Everybody has their own answer. So mine is, since you're talking to me, I'm beating around the bush here a little bit, but I like to feel something. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? I like to feel, joy. I like to feel happy. I like to feel even pain, and I like to feel angry sometimes. I don't have to feel angry, for 6 hours or 5 days or hold a grudge or be sad for 10 hours. But I like to feel, you know what I'm saying? I like to feel something. So when I'm given a script or an audition and I get to read it, I'm excited to be able to connect and feel what that person is going through. So it's about feeling something to me. So I don't know, to each his own, but I like that. And also I like my graphics a lot. I do like to talk a lot. So I do like my talk shows, and I'm interested in other people and learning about people because I find everybody has a story and they're interesting too. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but I think the top would be acting, and my art will always be a part of me. And I do like to talk. So I don't know, and I like my music too. So I don't know. I like a lot of stuff.
It's so well rounded. There's so many people that say, oh, just focus on one thing in your life
Yeah,
and be really good at it. And I find the more that you embrace things, it allows you to grow in other areas, and even more so in the one that you originally might have been focused on. So I love what you're
yeah.
doing. As
Well, it
far
does open your mind to other things and being a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
I like to explore. I even explore things. I mean, and it can be annoying to somebody, but somebody could be working on a computer and I might be hovering over them saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? They might be like, just leave me alone. So especially my boyfriend, because he's a computer engineer, and he's like, leave me alone. I said, but I'm interested sometimes in just hearing it, even once. I don't have to go to school for 10 years for it, but sometimes I just want to know, how things work a little bit, and then I walk away from it,
I'm totally with you on that. And I love learning. So when you're adding a lot of stuff that just sort of, I don't know, just brings all of that together is really neat, because you'll find so many things are interconnected, just like the stuff that comes back to you. So,
and it becomes a part of you is what happens.
Yes.
It becomes a part of you. Every little thing that you see and learn and hear, and it becomes a part of you if you, make yourself more aware and connected to it.
Oh,
and don't shut it out. It becomes a part of you.
Absolutely. Absorb is what I'm thinking is the way to go on so many different things. Let me ask you, when you first started knowing that you were artistic, at a very young age, or had you already started doing art in school?
I was in art. I did art in school. I mean, even in 5th grade, I was sketching a charcoal horse, because I actually rode professionally. I rode equestrian and Western, but that's another, story. But I like to draw horses. So I was working on this charcoal one in school, and my teacher was so wonderful, Mrs. Branch, and she let me sit there all day. I didn't have to go do math or anything else. I just got to sit and do art all day. So, I mean, I loved that. And I loved my teacher for letting me do it and finish the project, because most teachers wouldn't. But she saw something in me and she allowed me to do it. And, throughout, I think like the next year or something, I got best artist, of the school, which was fun. I got a little trophy. I still have it on my shelf, but that was fun. So, I've been doodling for a long time, and I make my own little, cartoons, and it's relaxing. It's just relaxing to just doodle or make little things. It just relaxes my mind sometimes. Sometimes something else might play in the guitar, or something might be gardening one day, or photography relaxes my mind a lot. So it just depends on, how I feel. Because when you have a lot of things that you're interested in, you can just grab it. It's like going in the closet. It's like, well, I got this pink shirt, or I got this blue shirt. I can wear these shoes today. You can pretty much just go in your own mind and pick what you want to do.
Absolutely. And all, like you were mentioning, all of these things kind of culminate together, and it allows you to have such a different perspective. So like if you go into photography, you might originally have only looked at, I don't know, a plant a certain way, but all of these different things that you've had going on, you might see it in a different light and be able to capture that. In a way that nobody has
macro too. So, and sometimes I can capture it with my cell phone too, but I have a lot of my photography on my website, and, people can look at my photography there too. If some people like photography, it's up to them. I'm not, whatever, but.
Well, all right, let's talk about your website.
Okay.
Because you have a story.
Yeah. I have a lot of stories. Which one?
I love it.
One. Which one? I have my burner graphics.
So you have KimmMauceri.com.
Right. I do.
And this is a story in itself, and it's a great one. And it's a great opportunity for people to say, okay, I need to think about this too.
Yeah, my Kimm Mauceri. Yeah. So I've been acting for a little while, and I've been trying to, grow and get my SAG, but at the time, okay, let me just go backwards for a second. I'm talking too fast. All right. So I went online to try to find some work, being an actor, because you can't always depend on your agent. A lot of times you have to do stuff for yourself. You're your own business. So you can't, depend on, everybody to hold your hand and do stuff for you. You have to go out and do stuff for yourself sometimes too. You are your own business. So I went online looking for this gig, or any gig, whatever. And I ran across this one, and it was filming in my area. And it was a kind of cool, gig. It was for a psychic. And I'm like, oh, I can do that. That's fun. So I reached out to her, and I said, hey, I would like to, audition for this gig. I see you're coming from Texas and coming to my town. And she says, well, I just reached out to your agent a couple of minutes ago, requesting you. And I was like, really? I said, all right, well, give it time or whatever. But, I didn't hear anything, from my agent, about it. And of course, days went by and I still didn't hear from my agent about it. But the good thing is that she said, um, come audition for me. And I was like, okay, cool. So she said, she sent me the script and had me audition, asked me if I can get it back to her on a Saturday. And it was probably like a Thursday or something. It was like an immediate hurry up because she was coming to Florida. And I got the role. And the good thing is that it was a SAG role and it was a speaking role and it was like 4 pages. And I was working alongside of a lady named Laura, and she actually played Leonardo DiCaprio's sister in Django, and she's been on Friends and everything. So it was a really nice opportunity, not only to have a SAG speaking role, but to work alongside, of a professional, in the industry. And I hee-hawed a little bit, for a year or two, but, I ended up, joining and becoming a SAG actress, from that role, from booking it myself. So sometimes you can't, complain and say, not saying everybody does. So I'm not trying to be that person, but, you can't just depend on other people doing stuff for you. You have to do stuff sometimes for yourself and, be humble about it and, just do it. And you don't have to advertise it all the time. You just, do it for yourself. You know what I mean? You just do it.
Yeah, that's important because I think oftentimes we always put.
Oh, and to Kimm Marie. So I had to change my name to Kimm. Sorry, but I had to change it because somebody was already Kimm Marie, and Kimm Marie is my middle name anyway. And I thought it was short and sweet, but I had to change it because somebody else was Kimm Marie. So I just used Kimm Mauceri again.
I love that though, because that really, it's just so classy and sets you apart, and people are going to remember exactly who you are. I love that. I
right.
love that.
If they can pronounce it.
But this is great though, because the more they hear it, the more they connect with you. And I think that embraces a lot of things. And it's interesting that you were sharing, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Get out there. Don't rely just on one person to do all of these things for you. You've got to get out there and brand yourself and make yourself known. And sometimes
so much from people, like, well, my agent's not helping me. Maybe I need a new, agent, or I hear that so much, and they blame, the agent when it's not the agent's fault. I mean, they can't help it. They submit you and you might not be right for the role, or you just might not fit, or you can't blame. You have to stay connected, keep, in the loop and do things for yourself. You can't blame everybody else because you just might not fit. That's all. That's all it is.
And it's nothing personal. It's just that's what's needed for that particular role.
And you grow and things change, but you can't blame anybody. You just do it on your own sometimes.
And there's something to really learn too, especially if you are going in the entertainment field and you want to be an actor. Going to auditions is really important. And so don't always focus on landing the role, but developing your skill, because you learn so much every time you go to an audition.
I love audition. Mm-hmm. I love audition because when, I'm just going on with my life and I'm not thinking about the next role, because it'll come when the right role comes, and then it comes. It's like, oh, goody, this is fun. I just wrote something online about this, I think it was today or yesterday. It's like finding a dollar bill in the middle of nowhere. It's just, or $100 bill in the middle of nowhere, or whatever, $1,000 in the middle of nowhere. It's like a gem. And I love it. And I really get excited to see what I was submitted for and, what I get to play with at the time. And if I don't get it, sure, I'm sad, I'm human, you know what I mean? But I'm not, going to let it ruin my life forever, because I did do some research, and I even hear from the professionals, the A-listers, that, it's you usually book one out of like 69 auditions.
Mm-hmm.
And in the professional world, SAG and, things of that nature, I don't even think I've even reached 69 auditions.
That's really good.
So I have a long way to go, before, I reach my goal. Hopefully I don't, but,
No, it's really good that you haven't reached that number yet, but you have already been very involved and you've landed fantastic roles.
Yeah.
So your odds are really good because it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back to you.
Yeah. And I had a talk show, and I started that when I was in broadcasting too. The thing is that I was listening to the radio when I was a kid, and every time I told the DJ, "Will you play this song for me?" and he never did, it irritated me. It irritated me. And I would call and call. I was a kid, you know what I mean? Play my song, I want to hear whatever I want to listen to at the time, And they never played my song. I was so pissed,
Yeah.
I said, you know what? When I become a DJ, I'm never going to do that to somebody.
Uh-huh.
And there's a story behind this too, but so I ended up becoming a DJ. I went to broadcasting school after I had started my talk show, because I wanted to test the waters. That's what I do. I test the waters a little bit first before I start spending money. Just same thing with acting. I wanted to test the waters a little bit, see if I love it again, if I'm going to get burnt out, and, before I start investing thousands of dollars into something. The same with graphics, played around with it, stayed up 48 hours doing graphics before I decided to go to college and invest money. And the same thing, with the radio. I started a talk show, and I had to sell my own airtime and make my own commercials off a little digital multi-track. And I had no idea that it was a Fostex multi-track. I had no idea how to do radio. I knew how to talk, but I didn't know how to do the technical part. I had to read the book. I was doing them on a cassette deck, doing my commercials, writing them, and then bringing them to the radio station, and
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot. And then I had to produce the show, know where my breaks. And I had no idea about radio at all. I did not go to school at this point, but I was a go-getter, and I want what I want. And that's how I am. I go and get what I want. And, I just do it for myself, But anyway, I had gotten 2 shows. I had it was a woman's talk show, like how to raise your kids and, things like that, how to raise your kids on a dime, and just a family. I had gotten Santa to come on, and I had, a big department store give me like almost $1,000 worth of gifts. And I had Santa come on my show, and I gave them all away to the homeless. And the producer loved me. He's like, well, I'll give you a free show if you stay. And I was like, well, I got to move on. So that's when I decided to go to broadcasting school, and I completed that. My program director sent me on a job for an intern. I said, I'm not going to intern. He goes, well, then I'm not sending you. I said, all right, I'll intern. So I went to the interview, and the program director, who's still my friend today, he says, it's an intern job. I says, I know. And he says, but you don't want to intern, do you? I says, no, I do not want to intern. I'm not here to intern at all. You know,
do my thing.
Yeah, I'm here to do my thing. I just went to college. I'm almost going to graduate 2 weeks. I'm not here to intern. So he says, well, call me when you finish, school. I said, okay. So I went back and my professor was angry with me because he sent me there to intern, and he almost had a heart attack that I said I wasn't going to intern to one of his connections. But I said I'm not going to. And the day I graduated from school, I was getting ready to take a trip to out west to Sturgis or something. I don't remember, but it was somewhere out of town for a while. And I called the program director, and he says, you got a job. And I went back to my teacher and went,
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. So, but that was fun. Yeah. So I don't even know what the heck we were talking about. So.
No, this is great. I really think that the message that you have for the audience to hear is really something that they can really relate to on a number of different levels. And then also can take this as a little bit of support for maybe something that they were thinking or doing and say, oh, I'm not sure if I should do it this way. Yeah, listen to what Kimm has to say, because what she has done has made her extremely successful. And you do have to be a go-getter and go get what you want. If you want it, you are your best advocate.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, if you, you just said it, you do it. You couldn't have said it better. You do it. You want something, you go and do it. And if you need help from people, you ask. You know what I'm saying? You ask somebody that you can trust, and you try not to ask, the people that you don't,
Well, that's true.
But that's a part of the process though, because sometimes I've asked people that I thought could be trusted and it ended up, being a, whatever. But, sometimes you don't know, but that's all part of the journey. And then you start tightening your ship, as you plug along, you just starting to tighten up, and know who you can trust and who you can reach out to. And anybody can reach out to me if they wanted to, and ask me questions. I don't know everything, but I would help, much as I could. But people have to still learn on their own. I'm not going to, give it all away, because they still have to learn. That's part of the process. But you have to learn the good and the whatever. Unfortunately, you do. But I'm here. I would help.
I love this.
Reach out.
I want the audience to embrace that, because there's so much that we can really learn and equip ourselves with by reaching out to other people who can really make a good comment or suggestion or give us some direction. And the biggest, I think, challenge for us to do that is fear. Like, oh gosh, that person, we kind of put people in a different level than we are. And we shouldn't do that. We should say, this is somebody that I think is going to really understand what I'm going through and can direct me, because I want to get to where they're at. Not that we need to put them on a certain level. We just need to say, this person has been able to do it, and I want to emulate what they've done. When we do that, we're shortening the cycle of people trying to do too many trial and errors when they're just trying to get ahead. And I think this is great. So for those of you listening and watching the show, definitely reach out to Kimm. You want to connect with her on so many levels to see what she's got going in all the different ways. And kimmauceri.com is one of the areas that you can get started. Let me ask you too, Kimm, where else do you want the audience to connect with you?
Oh boy. I have my character actress page on Facebook, and they can follow me there if they would like to. I have some YouTube and Kimm Mauceri, Burner Graphics, .com. It just depends on what they're interested in. If they're interested in seeing some of my acting, and that would be, or my radio stuff, that would, or whatever, that would be kimmauceri.com. if they are interested in seeing some of my photography and artwork and stuff, and I keep loading stuff up every day, that would be burnergraphics.com. If they're interested in just connecting and saying hi, then that would be, Kimm Mauceri, the character actress page on Facebook, would be fine as well. I'm not there all the time, but I am there, for people that are like-minded, like myself. And I don't want to see people have to struggle if they don't have to, and I will try my best, to answer any questions anybody has. Again, I'm just like them. I'm trying to make it. I'm nobody special besides, me,
You
and,
are special, and so are they.
yeah,
And
and everybody's different.
yeah,
You can't be anybody else. Don't try to be like anybody else or anything. Just be yourself. And, that's good enough.
I love this. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing all of the things that you have, because I think that this is so spot on. And I would love to have you back on the show. I want to talk about some of the things that you volunteered with, especially when it comes to the bullying situation. I think that in itself would be really significant for so many people because it's become a bigger issue. But thank you for all of your such fantastic insight and your encouragement. I think that the audience is really going to embrace this, and I'm encouraging them to do so.
Good. I'm glad to be here. This was fun.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning in to another episode of Rebecca Sounds Reveille. What a delightful show this has been. I've got to tell you, I feel so joyful because all of the things that Kimm is doing is embracing things that we share about a number of episodes that really want to make hit home. But someone now is reaching out to you saying, hey, if you want some insight, please feel free to connect with me. And that's what you should do. And make sure that you share this episode with everybody that you know on social media, all of your friends and family, and everybody you don't. Thanks for tuning in.